as I was saying, every every relationship is interconnected inherently, bro. Every relationship. So like my grandma wasn't that good of a parent to my mom. So however my grandma made my mom feel, although my mom didn't do the same exact things my grandma did, my mom still made me feel the same way she felt growing up. And it's just subconsciously that's we do that to each other, especially if we um, not heal from it. If we feel like severing ties or just moving on is the healer of everything, it's not, and ultimately you end up passing the hurt on. So once we develop, once we develop the ability to be able to see through that, then we gets better. So like with my son, I made a choice to send me to prison, and I left him for 10 years of his life. So he was neglected, abandoned. He probably seen his friends and their dads, and some type of jealousy or um, low self-esteem, whatever. Which was the same way my mom made me feel.
Mm.
However, I had to go to my mom and say, you know what, mom, I forgive you. I want you to forgive me because me and you have to be on good terms and we have to be as one for me to be a great father to my son. So I don't inadvertently pass those things down to him. So I gotta heal me and my mom relationship to be able to heal me and my son relationship.
I think that was the hardest thing for me before my mom died. We didn't heal our relationship, and so yeah, I commend you for that. That's something that needs to be done. We didn't heal our relationship. There was too much, and I realized I love my mom for where she was at. I realized where things were going to end up and how they were going to be, but her life was too far gone for me to try or even get understanding. It was the same thing over and over again. I'm like, 30 some years later, like you haven't changed a bit. You haven't grown at all. Doing the same things over and over again. Asking me for money, and not money to help with bills, money to go gamble and things like that. And I had to step away because you were hurting me more than helping. And it's one of those things. It's one of those things that it hurt because I didn't expect her death. And when it came, and when people talk, I'm like, hey, whatever you can do, just amend the relationship with your parents. However it is, love them where they're at, and leave it at that.
Yeah,
I loved her where she was at. I
yeah.
did, but of course I wanted more because it wasn't her fault. Her fault, but not her fault for what the system and growing up in the '80s and '70s did to her.
The crack era,
Yeah.
it was bad for my people, bro.
Yes.
My grandmas, my great aunts, even my mom, bro. Like it was bad. Crack did a lot of
It did a lot.
it did a lot. And I think for the most part when we ruin our parents, we ruin them on a pedestal. We feel like because they're our parents, what they should be doing and how they should do it. But like my mom isn't the greatest and she still don't she still is not who I feel she should be for me. But however, at the same time, that's my own personal expectations. And like you said, we gotta love people where they at
Yep.
because like everybody got different abilities. Everybody thrive in different aspects of life. And for the most part, like I love my mom to death. I really do. But I will never understand why she do the things she do. And frankly, I don't want to because somebody told me before. Once you start understanding why people do what they do, then you become them. And once again, I love my mom to death, but I don't want to become that type of parent. So trying to understand why she did what she did or why she continued to do what she does is just like I
With,
don't even look into it.
with some people, it doesn't click, so you have to love them where they're at. With some people, their emotional intelligence and self awareness doesn't grow, and they never get there, and that's just life. It just
That's
is.
just life.
And so you have to love them for where they're at. And I loved her for where she was at. When she called me, I would talk to her. When she sent me a text, I'll text back. But I couldn't be who she wanted me to be. I couldn't. I couldn't be that. I had to move on. Even with some of my siblings, I have to keep moving. There's a lot in life that I'm trying to get to. We can establish a relationship, but it's tough, man. Growing up inside the system And having siblings that grow up inside the system also, like you get separated. You don't know who you are. You're trying to find who you are, and it's just difficult to stay in contact. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that goes on with the inner city that a lot of people do not realize, and then it goes into the incarceration as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, and all of it's circulating around each other.
However, when we do end up in prison, bro, like, and I don't know if it sound bad or if it sound good, but prison, for the most part, was not a bad experience for me because although I was locked up, I felt free, and all those programs and resources prison had to offer. Once I really start doing those things, bro, I start to feel more confident in myself. I stopped second guessing myself. I start to love myself, accept myself, embrace myself. Like that was an environment of change, bro.
Free because you got an opportunity to have a choice and not stuck in the streets anymore. It's like, okay, I have one direction I can go. I have two directions I can go. Stay here forever, actually three. Stay here forever, die, or educate myself.
Yeah.
And accept where I'm at and go.
And go.
So it gave you, it broke things down for you because in the streets you got so many ways you can go. You got incarcerated and you realize I only have these three choices. Which one you gonna pick? It gave you it solidified a choice for you. It brought that down. It gave you freedom. Like, okay, I'm free to actually apply myself. I'm free to actually learn. I'm free to grow. Like I can be me.
I could be me.
I could be me.
Then
I can learn me.
I start actually witnessing other black men doing the same, bro, which was unheard of in my community.
Oh, please explain.
I started meeting guys that was there like for 15 years and still had 20 years to go. So when I'm coming in and I'm angry and I'm bitter and I just want to fight somebody because of how much time I got to do, I'm 19 years old. They telling me I got to do 12 and a half years in prison. That was a lifetime to me. But now when I got these guys that's been in prison just as long as I'm alive and still got decades to go, but how they still wake up with a smile on their face, how they still got this deep and positive perspective on it, how they still see the good in this bad environment. It's like, I want to be like that. That's my role model right there. Somebody that could wake up in a place of pain but still find the happiness in it. So I started going over there having those type of conversations, you know? And once they start saying, if you need anything, you need help, you need this, you need that, at first I waved it off like, man, you know how many guys have told me that, but never really came through for me? But then when I started going to school, and I started having these math tests, and when they started getting a little difficult for me, I didn't understand how the teacher was trying to explain it. And I go to these same individuals, and they take the time out their day. Although they're in prison, you still got a lot of things you can do. But they take the time out their day, come sit down with me, and help me get this. So not only am I feel like I could trust him, I could believe in him, but then I'm seeing like this incarcerated black man who's been here for 20 years, look how smart he is. You know what I'm saying? So I started going. Even when I didn't need help, I was still going because I just want to feel that
time, man.
I just
That
want to
time,
feel that.
that time and that love.
You know?
That unconditional love.
For real, bro. I ain't had no dad, bro. So when I
Yeah.
started meeting these guys, like, although I know this wasn't my dad, but it's just what I needed. When I'm waking up and seeing this man who got life, his release day say deceased. This man wake up every morning, drink coffee, read newspaper, play chess by himself. I started going to go sit at that table. I started bringing my own cup of coffee. What you reading?
Oh.
I never thought a black man had the intelligence to know about politics. So when I started seeing all these black men that were smart, although they were incarcerated, bro, they were geniuses, bro. They were extremely smart, gentle, confident. They were still protective, loving, caring. They wasn't soft. Expressing how they feel did not make them seem or appear soft. It's like, those are the footsteps I need to be walking in.
Gentleness, strength, and vulnerability.
It's like super hard to do. So I don't even know why is it a preconceived notion growing up for a man to express himself viewed as soft. Like, That's hard. That takes
No,
courage.
that's strength. That's strength in a man. A man that can be vulnerable and show vulnerability, be soft, gentle, and strong at the same time, and formidable in a way.
And it's like,
How far you think that's gonna go? Man, get him done.
you know, it's
So why do you think prison reform is needed?
because